Hello, my name's Jo Cadman and I'm one of the assistant principals here at college. Normally at this time of year we would have invited you into college for a parents' meeting, and I'm sorry we haven't been able to do that this year, so I hope the information that we've put together here instead will be helpful for you. My colleague Adrian will start things off and I'll come back in a few minutes.
Thank you, Jo. I'm going to try and say something just briefly about the ethos of the college, about what we're trying to do here, what we are. For most of our students, we are a journey, a 2-year journey from school through to university or employment. And so, in a way, we mix what might be sort of elements of things you'd recognise from school with something that might be, say, more like a university as we move people through to the adult world. Many of the features of what we do are a lot like school. You know, we have form tutors and reports and parents' evenings. People come in and they join a class. They come into a psychology class or a chemistry class, and they have their teacher that they see 4 times a week, and the average is there are 17, 18 people in those classes, and that teacher writes the reports and talks to the parents at parents' evening and so on. A model very similar to what people have been used to at school. I think where it's different is we are trying to move people on to something more like a university style environment, and so there is no uniform. Students do call teachers by their first name, and that's a little bit strange for them at first, but many of them step up to that kind of experience and that kind of way of learning extremely well. It's a big provision. Really, the job we do is A-level, and we do it well. We have big teams here. If you come to us and do psychology, there'll be many, many teachers here who that's what they do. They teach A-level psychology. Many of them are examiners, and these are people who all week teach that subject and teach it extremely well. And that's the case across all the subject areas. And so we do have a big focus on success and moving people on to where they want to go. In terms of provision, there are a lot of students here doing all sorts of different courses, but broadly we do one thing. We offer A-levels, and most students will come to us and they'll do normally 3 A-levels over the course of 2 years. Now, there are some people who will come to us and do 4 because they're going to specifically develop their further maths, or because they need particular extra subjects for things. Normally because they've come to us with a high GCSE grade profile and they've got ambitions of aspirational universities and things like that. Broadly, the overwhelming majority of our students will come and they'll do the standard 3. That's the model across the country. Now, in terms of those 3, some students will choose to do something called an extended certificate or extended diploma in certain areas. So they may come and do that in criminology or health and social care and so on. The majority of A-levels, they've gone back to the way A-levels were when I did them at school. And so, you studied for 2 years, and at the end of it, you had a series of exams, and those determined your grade. If you do one of the diploma and certificate courses, you're working as you go through. You're gaining marks on the way through, and a lot more of those are based on coursework. And so that's something that appeals to some students to come and say, right, well, I'll do health, or I'll do criminology, or I'll do ICT in that way. And so those courses that they're doing there, those are the same size, the same shape, the same rooms, the same teachers. They carry the same weight. They take students to the same places as A-levels would do. So one of the 3, normally it would be one of the 3. Of those A-levels could in fact be a certificate, and that will move students on to university. It will do exactly the same job for the overwhelming majority of our students in the same way. We also have a number of students who will come to us normally because they just missed it for whatever reason. Something happened at school, or there are issues around health or other difficulties or concerns, and they just missed it, and they just need another couple of terms to move the GCSEs up into their into the point where they say, right, fine, I'll go on and do A-level, or I'll go on and do something else in employment or other courses or whatever. And so those people join us on the Advanced Foundation Programme, and some of those will be talking to us about the Advanced Foundation Programme now, and some will, in the summer, will talk to us as their results pan out and the picture become clearer. It might be something that they talk to us about when results are in. one of the big things, besides the A-level programme, one of the big things is this is one of the things that bowled me over a bit when I joined about 12 years ago, is the additional studies programme. When I go around and talk to students in assemblies and things like that in schools, I end up sort of rambling on about things like, I end up saying, well, you've got your 3 A levels, and then there's this additional studies programme. This is kind of the cheeky extras, the side dishes, and some of these courses are really quite substantial, and so students can do all sorts of things. Now, how we're going to do this as we go forward in terms of working with, coronavirus guidelines and so on, we're going to have to think through really carefully. And so what I'm talking to you here is what we would hope to offer in a standard year, and we will, wherever we can, in a modified form if we have to, or we will do our best to offer a lot of this around the A levels and the certificates this year. So these are the extras. Now, as I said, I go into assemblies and I talk about cheeky extras, and I say, well, some people are really cheeky, and they say, well, I'm going to take on something, really quite substantial. Let's go for this. For example, I'm good at Spanish. I'm good at French. Let's take on GCSE Italian as well. Let's try and tackle that in a year. And that works really well for a number of our students who are really good at languages. I'm not going to go through the whole list. There's a huge list of things that people can take. They can take core maths to develop their math skills. They can look at qualifications in finance. Some of these qualifications are really quite substantial. They're really going to help people get into universities and so on. In other ways, people might try to take things just for extra, the good of their soul, as it were, to do things to develop their skills and interests. People who, I don't know, didn't take a performing arts A level but want to stay involved in dance club or a production or something like that. I'm really hoping there'll be all sorts of opportunities that we can sort of hang on to for people like that as we go forward. And again, with the sports as well, people who want to get involved formally or informally, or use the gym or join the volleyball or basketball or whatever, all those things are there for people. There is an enormous amount going on as an extra, a huge amount of activities. A lot of those are focused around moving people forward, people who are getting help with, joining medical profession or teaching or the lawyers and so on. And so there's a wide range of stuff. If people want to come and play in a band or whatever, there'll be all sorts of things to get involved in. Far too many for me to go through here. But it's something we can talk to students about, for example, when they enrol, if they've not looked at that already at interview. Clearly, one of the most important things that people want to think about is the timetable. This is a standard college timetable here. I'm recording this in July 2020. I don't know what the impact is going to be of government directions and so on around coronavirus and so on. This is our timetable. This is what we want to get back to as soon as we can. This is what we're going to base our understanding around. Possibly we'll have to modify it. But what I'm presenting to you here is the college timetable as it normally is. I mean, there may well be factors that affect it clearly over the next few months. In many ways, as I said, it's a mixture of kind of school and something more like college or university. A lot of the timetable contains features to be very familiar to students from school. We've got a registration here. We've got a meeting with their personal tutor every day at lunchtime there. That's the first point of contact for them, first point of contact for you, any issues or concerns. In terms of the way the lesson works, this person here has got chemistry here on a Monday, big double lesson there, then again on a Tuesday. First thing on a Thursday morning, and again on Friday just before tutorial. So that's them in a lab with their group, with their chemistry teacher, 4 times a week, much as, the sort of thing that you would expect at school. This person here in the yellow, we can see they've got history there on a Wednesday, and then again on a Thursday and a Friday and so on. And so you can see how the timetable builds up. Now, this person here, if we have a look over here, on a Friday, doesn't have anything in block C. So that's a study period. Those study periods are the responsibility of that student to use effectively on or off site. So students must be in these lessons on their timetable, and of course they must go and see their tutor every day. And this person has got various other things going on as well in terms of picking up some extra core maths and things like that. But if there are periods where a person does have that, they need that flexibility to work their way through their homework and assignments and research, and use the library and the study centres and so on. And that's what those periods are for. But they're students are moving more towards something that's their responsibility, whether it's on or off-site to use that time effectively.
Thanks, Adrian. Now I want to tell you a little bit about pastoral care here at college. This is something that we place a lot of importance on. Every student has a personal tutor who monitors their academic progress and their welfare. And the personal tutor will be the key person in college for your son or daughter. Ordinarily, they'll see their personal tutor every day, so they should get to know them well. In this little diagram, you can see that the person in the middle is a senior tutor. And that's the person who oversees your son or daughter's progress and welfare and who'll step in if there are any difficulties. And at the bottom is the assistant principal, and that's me, Jo Cadman, and I'm responsible for all pastoral matters at the college and for safeguarding. For any students who need a bit of extra help, we have lots available. So we have learning support provision to help with study, but also counsellors and welfare staff who can help with emotional well-being. And most of our extra help can be accessed by students in a number of ways. Students can drop in or refer themselves, as well as seeking help via their personal tutors. So what do we expect from our students? Coming to college does mark a change and a step up from school. The work's likely to be more challenging, and there's also more freedom. Your son or daughter will have free periods on their timetable. And although they'll be expected to go to all their lessons, they will be managing their own independent study time. I think independence is a key word. We know they're not there yet, but by the time they leave us, and believe me, those 2 years really will fly by, they need to be ready for higher education or the world of work. So we aim to help them become independent and take responsibility for their learning with our help. We also want them to engage and get involved to make the most of the incredible range of opportunities they'll have when they're with us. Having talked about students becoming independent, I should probably just reiterate that we don't expect them to arrive as fully fledged adults. And just as we don't expect them to develop without help from us, they'll also still need help from you. I think you'll find that contact between college and home is a little bit different than between school and home. If we have any concerns, we'll generally talk to the student first, and we'll tend to deal directly with your son or daughter, either face-to-face if they're here in college, or via email or phone if we need to contact them that way. But we will also keep you in the loop. As you can see here, there are lots of points of contact, including the traditional parents' evenings and written reports. You're also very welcome to contact us about any issues. So the personal tutor would normally be the first point of contact, but you can also get in touch with your son or daughter's senior tutor or with me. I'd also recommend that you have a look at the website. There's lots of information there about all the things that we've mentioned and more. So, thank you for listening. I hope that this briefing has been useful, and I look forward to meeting you at one of our college events once your son or daughter joins us in the autumn. Thank you. Bye-bye.